All right, you guys. Happy Monday. January. I know last week was kind of like, let's kick the year off with all of the things. And so hopefully you guys at least feel like you have a good feel on what is going on this month. So you know which direction to be rowing in, all the activities to plug into, or events to plug into, all of those things. Just for a quick refresh, so everybody kind of knows what's going on this week. Thursday night, both of our teams have an event happening on Thursday that you can plug people into. Remember, these Thursday events are product focused information about the products to help people kind of take that next step, kind of make the decision whether they want to get started or not. They're great for you to plug potentials into and great for you to help your happy customers invite people into this with them. And then on Sunday night, we are plugging into those opportunity calls every week. Every Sunday night is an opportunity. And I really want to encourage you guys to grab one person, like make it your goal. Focus on one, having a conversation with one person about the business and getting them to hop on to that Sunday night call with you. I know sometimes we can go into this crazy frenzy of, let me talk to 25 people. But one is so doable. If you can get one person on that call with you, start a conversation with them this week, get them on that call with you, get them thinking about the business. So those are the two areas we're really focusing on this week. And then also on Saturday is Super Saturday. You do not want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. Even if you're going and having a watch party at someone's house, you want to be registered yourself because there are things that are going to be only available to you if you have your own ticket. So if you're not watching with somebody, I highly recommend grab a friend, have a little watch party, even if it's just you and one other person. Maybe it's a happy customer that you want to kind of invite into this. It can be a potential, whatever. Have your own little watch party and have a great time with it. I'm super excited about it. I always love Super Saturday. All right. If I forget or forgot anything that I need to make note of, let me know. But we are going to dive in. I am very, very excited. When Bree and I were kind of chatting at the end of December, also kind of like, the big thing that we wanted to focus on was going back to the basics. For some of you, you're like, been there, done that, heard that. I promise you, basics never get old. And fine-tuning your basics, you'll never stop. I'm 8 years into this, and I'm still always fine-tuning those pillars, strengthening those pillars to make sure that I can have the most solid business that I possibly can. And so when we talk about these 4 pillars in Plexus, we refer to recruiting, retention, duplication, and leadership. Those are our 4 pillars. But before we get to those 4 pillars, in order to have 4 pillars to build, you have to have a solid foundation to build them on. And that solid foundation that you are building on is mindset and vision. And so I'm going to dive into the mindset piece of things, and then I'm going to toss it over to Bree to talk to you guys a little bit about vision. But what I want you to know is that the foundation of everything that you do in this business is your mindset. Your biggest asset in this business, or your biggest hindrance in this business, will 1000% be your mindset. Everything will rise and fall on your mindset. Anyone can come in and learn the skills that it takes to do this business. You guys, it's not rocket science. Like, yes, are there things that you have to get better at? 100%. We say it all the time. This is 80% your mindset, 20% your skill set. And so the more that you are strengthening your mindset, the more longevity you're going to find in this. And so here's what I have seen in my experience in 8 years of doing this. I've seen people come in with crazy amounts of influence who are successful very quickly based on their skills, but they don't stay long-term because they don't work on their mindset. Is all their skill set. And I think the lie that a lot of times we tell ourselves is that arriving at some certain level of success or money will set you up for success. Like, I will feel confident when I'm at this level of success, or I will feel confident when I'm at this level of money. And y'all, it's just simply not true. Arriving at a level of success does not solidify your mindset, because money and success are not what fulfill. You can have money and success and still doubt yourself and still, quote unquote, fail if your mindset is not in the right place. And I come at you speaking from experience that I have been in some very low valleys in my business after I reached what people would say is like the level of success. After I reached diamond, I've hit some of the lowest valleys in my business. And what has kept me here through that valley is the fact that I worked on my mindset. I want you guys to listen to this. The average person has 60,000 thoughts per day. 60,000. But here's the scary part, is that 75% of those thoughts are negative and 95% of those thoughts are repetitive. So here's a little math for you. I know you guys are so surprised. Bethany's doing math. So you're having 45,000 thoughts per day that are negative and repetitive, right? So a cycle of constant negative thoughts. I want you guys to think back to your childhood and different things that maybe you tried as a child, or things that you did and places that you failed and messages that you took on as truth, things that maybe somebody spoke over you and you accepted that as truth. And then that becomes a repetitive thought in your head. And then that becomes normal to you. And you probably don't even see it as negative. It's like the thought of, if you have a path that you drive, let's say you have a job and you drive to that job every single day. Like, that is a drive that you make. And then sometimes you take that drive and you're in your head and you're like, how did I even get here? I don't even remember driving here. Have any of y'all had that before? I know that sounds really scary, but it's a real thing. But it's because it becomes so automatic for your brain because it's something that you do all the time. The same thing happens with our negative thoughts. And so if you are anything like me, I came into this business not thinking once about how my thoughts were impacting me, not thinking once that I was a negative person, until I started diving into personal growth and recognizing these cycles and these patterns of negativity in my life. What I want you to know, and what is the most empowering thing that you can recognize, is that you have the power to break the cycle. You can break the cycle, but it takes intentionality. But it will be what determines your staying power in this business. Now, I'm gonna go a little preachy on you for just a second, because what I want you to recognize is the purpose, and Bree will dive more into the vision with this, but recognizing that you have a purpose here, right? Like, I have watched in my 8 years the impact that so many people are making because of their Plexus business. That it's not just, I'm paying my bills, I'm going on dream vacations, but making a real difference and a real impact. And I want you to know that is not something that the enemy wants to happen. And so the number one place that the enemy wants to attack you is through your thoughts. Because if he can grab your thoughts, he can derail you from your purpose. Because everything that we do is driven by our thoughts. It's driven by the mindset that we have. I want to give you this quick comparison in the Bible that I was thinking about today. In the story of creation with Adam and Eve, when the serpent comes in and he plants this thought of doubt in Eve's mind and kind of says, hey, but did God really say that you shouldn't eat from this fruit? And she starts to kind of stew on this lie, on this thought. And the more that the enemy makes this thought appealing to her, well, God's just trying to withhold something from you because he doesn't want you to have the wisdom that he has. And it's in that thought, allowing that thought to dwell and to take root, that Eve then goes, eats of the fruit, and screws us all. I'm just kidding. but actually. But then I want you to think over in the New Testament in Matthew, when we're talking about when Jesus was tempted by the enemy in the wilderness. Over and over and over, he's tempted, where the enemy tries to also place these same thoughts on Jesus. And every single time, Jesus responds with truth. Instead of buying into the lie, instead of dwelling on the lie and letting that become his identity, he knows the truth. And so he uses the truth to combat the lie. It's the same thing, you guys. Old story, still happening today. That your thoughts are going to determine whether or not you go out and you fulfill your purpose. And it all goes back to your mindset. And so I want you to do a quick evaluation. Bree, can you allow me to share my screen real quick? Okay. Oh, where did it go? Oh no, here we go. All right, we have fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Can y'all see that? Okay. So what a fixed mindset says, it says someone with a fixed mindset thinks their skills are fixed and cannot improve or change over time. Someone with a fixed mindset thinks I'm either good at something or I'm not. Feedback feels like criticism. Talent takes you places, not hard work. Someone with a growth mindset believes their intelligence, skills, and creativity grow with time and experience. They have the thinking, I can improve my skills with practice. Feedback helps me learn and grow. Anyone can learn or develop in a new area. I want you just to take a quick moment of reflection. And obviously, I want you to spend some more time in this later. But where do you find yourself more camped out in? In a fixed mindset of this is just the way that it is. And some of you with a fixed mindset might already be thinking, well, this is just the way it is. I'm just stuck in a fixed mindset. But you're not stuck there. But identifying where you are helps you know where you need to grow. I can tell you 100%, I very much was in this fixed mindset category when I first started my business. And I was very much someone who, if something was hard, if it took hard work, if it wasn't from my natural ability, peace, I'm out, like not for me. But what I realized when I started to dive into the mindset piece of this was that who I was not who I had to be, that there was potential there waiting for me, and I could learn what it took, and I could grow myself, and that I could get where I wanted to go with time. And so recognize where you are in this so that you know where you need to grow. Here's the biggest piece of it. And this is where I think for a lot of people, it's like, where do I start? Because you look and you're like 60,000 thoughts a day. Like that is a whole lot, but it's just like anything else. You start somewhere. You start small. You start with one thought, one overarching theme. Yes, Emily, 1% habit change. Think of the one thought that you might be having about yourself that is holding you back. And this is the biggest thing that I want you to know. And this is you're not alone in this. I love like one of my favorite verses in this. There are so many verses in the Bible that talk about your thoughts, but it talks about in Romans, you are to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It is something that God desires for us. He does not desire for you to live in a state of negative thinking. And so when you invite him into this, and when you show him like, this is where I want to grow, and this is where I want to change, he's going to partner with you in that. He's going to show you the areas that are holding you back from what he is calling you to do and who he is calling you to be, if you will let him, if you will invite him into that. And so take some inventory of when I sit down and I look, and y'all, again, I know in a fixed mindset, we don't like feedback, but if you want growth, go talk to the people that know you. That can sting sometimes, but it's how we identify where we need the growth and ask somebody, would you say that I'm more of a negative person? Would you say that I approach challenges feeling like I can do them, or do they shut me down? Find those places, start to take inventory so you know what you need to address and where you need to grow. And the biggest part of it, what are you feeding your mind with daily? When we talk about wanting to get healthy, we evaluate, what are we literally feeding our bodies with daily? What are we literally doing to our bodies daily? It is the same thing with your mind. What are you doing to feed your mindset daily? Do you have a mindset growth plan? If you want to get fit, you've got a plan in the gym, don't you? If you want to lose weight, you've got that meal plan, or you've got that, you're tracking your macros, you've got a plan for it. You have to have a plan, and then it becomes a daily discipline. And the more that you do it, the more you will start to recognize those negative patterns, stop them in their tracks, and turn them around. And so for your action item with mindset for tonight is to get a mindset action plan. And I want you guys to, just like we talk about with everything, it needs to be something that you can be consistent with. So I don't want to hear, I will listen to an hour of positive affirmations every day. That's not realistic. At least it's not for me. But what about 10 minutes? 10 minutes of feeding your mindset every day, whether it's a mindset book, a mindset podcast, a mindset YouTube video, where you are constantly feeding your mindset. Your brain wants to be able to take control. Like, that's its biggest desire. And when you can get your brain to focus on the things that it can control, and in that positive wave of thinking, and then your brain starts to realize, wow, when I think on these positive things, when I work on my mindset, I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting where I want to go. And then your brain starts to look for more of that. What you focus on expands. And so when you start to focus in on your mindset, on positive thinking, flushing out the negative thinking, that's what your brain's going to start looking for. That's what it's going to start being drawn to. And that is going to be what sustains you in this business. I promise you, it is not your skills. You can be the best recruiter in the world. You can know a million people, but if you don't have the mindset, and if you are not solid in that, you will not have the staying power in this. All right, Bree.
All right, drop a 1 in the comments if that resonates with you. If there is something that Bethany just said that you know now that you need to work on, something that I was thinking while she was talking about this too, y'all, you are the sum of the 5 people that you stay around with the most. And sometimes that's like, yeah, I hit the friend jackpot lottery, and I really fully feel like that. But 8 years ago, 5 years ago, I could not say that because I was not around people that were constantly building me up. And it's not like a, hey, feed my ego. It's like, y'all know those people that you can be with, and it's negative and everybody's gossiping, and it's like a mindset suck, right? It's just a trap that you fall into. And it's so easy to get like that in the business. It is. Complain about corporate, complain about the website, complain about the teammates, complain about your uplines. Like, you got to learn to be able to stop yourself in those moments. Now, it's different if you're going up to your upline and you're in a coaching call and you're like talking things through, but those things determine where you're going to go and where you stay. So while you're working on these things, especially, it is so important, because if you're in that mindset struggle and you have other people that are in that mindset struggle too, but you're not growth minded, you will stay fixed. You've got to have those people that are pulling you. Okay, so I want to talk to y'all just for a couple of minutes about vision. How many of you, if you can answer yes to all of these, wait till I say them, put a yes in the comments. How many of you have a January goal, a 6-month goal, a 1-year goal, and a 5-year goal? Is there anybody that has that mapped out? Like, I know how many points I need to have. I know where I want to be in 5 years. I know what I want to have. Okay, there is a difference here with this, y'all. And I'm not saying this to overwhelm you, but what a lot of us have right now is I want to be emerald in 6 months. I want to be diamond in 5 years. That's like getting in your car with no roadmap, not knowing how to get there, not being able to pull it up on your phone, and just thinking, I'm going to make it to California in a week. Y'all, I would end up in Haiti. Like my car would have no direction because I don't know where I'm going, right? I am not saying that you have to have point by point, month by month. But if you're telling me that you want Emerald in 6 months, who are your business builders? What's your vision? Why do you want that? And so I really want to hone in on that just for the next couple of minutes. And here's what I want to remind you guys, and I see this over and over again in coaching. How many of you feel like you were taught to dream big? Like when you were little, if somebody was like, if you were like, oh, I'm going to be the first person to land on the moon, were your parents like, yeah, go for it? Or were they like, well, Sally, that probably is not going to happen for you because we don't live in the right area. We don't know the right people. You're not going to go to that college. Can anybody relate to that? Learning how to dream is a muscle that we have to learn how to exercise. And you are not alone in this. And tonight, I am so passionate about this. You hear me loud and clear in this. You are not Plexus, and Plexus is not you. This is an avenue for you to be able to get where you want to be and to be able to make an impact far beyond anything that we've ever dreamed of. And so a lot of times what we get caught up in is we think, and I'm guilty of this too, I want to get back to diamond points. I want to be able to go emerald on Derek's leg. Like we think about the ranks, y'all, the ranks do not matter. They don't. What matters is the income that you get in that rank and what you get to do with it, because it's a direct impact of the lives that you have changed. And so I don't want you to stop dreaming of emerald. I don't want you to stop dreaming of diamond. I don't want you to stop dreaming of ruby. I don't want you to stop dreaming of gold. Those things are amazing. But what I really hope for you tonight is that you start dreaming far past that and that you start building on vision. And I love that Emily put this in the chat. 1% habit increases, because it's going to feel weird, right? I remember the first vision board that I put up together. And some of y'all maybe remember this, but one of the very first vision boards that I put up had an in-ground pool. And I remember looking at that vision board and I literally remember thinking like it was yesterday, I just want to afford an inflatable pool right now. Like that's all I want. But it's 1% habit increases. You have to start with small vision and small goals to get big vision and big goals. So if you are somebody that was not taught to dream big, it's going to be something that you have to have those 1% habit increases. Y'all know that I love math, but I want you to think about a penny. I was always taught to pick a penny up, right? Like a penny is a penny is a penny. And I remember thinking when I was little, but yeah, like it's 1 cent. Do y'all know what you get if you take 1 penny and you double it 30 times? 1 penny, one thought that's positive in the right direction. At the end of 30 days, you have $5.5 million from 1 penny. Imagine if you start to do that with your thoughts. Imagine if you start to do that with your vision. Imagine if you start to do that with your team. You create that one person, that 1 cent, that one vision, and you start casting it to them because you have the belief and you have the mindset, it will completely change everything for you. But those things don't happen if when you open up your messenger chat, you're like, oh, but somebody turned off their subscription and now my whole day is shot. Because the next person that needs you does not get their best version of you. And that vision that you have will 100% trickle to other people. If Bethany and I got on these Monday night calls and we were like, hey guys, Plexus is amazing. Go out and sell it. And I hope you get your 3 and earn your Plexus tumbler. Like, who would stick around and who would come to the calls, right? I mean, I hope y'all would, but I know you wouldn't. Like, I don't get on stuff that's not worth my time. People aren't answering back. They're not making the moves if they don't feel inspired by something. And the only way that happens is if you have a vision and you know where you're going. Because if you just keep setting like, oh, I want Emerald in 6 months, but you don't have a plan how to get there, guess what's going to happen in 6 months? Well, I hope in another 6 months I get Emerald. It is so important. And I can't go through all of that stuff tonight, right? Like, that's what you do on coaching calls, is do the mapping. But I want you to get real clear on what you want. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. And I don't even have a PowerPoint for y'all today. I don't. I know. Jenny's, look, I brushed my teeth for this and there's no PowerPoint. What is going on? But I was listening to John Maxwell today. And because Bethany suggested a new book to me, and as soon as she suggested it, I went and downloaded it on Audible, because I want the things that fill my mind to be positive and powerful. And so today on my hour drive, instead of listening to songs, instead of listening to anything else, I was listening to an Audible book, because I have the time, right, to get my mindset right and to work on my vision. And even now, there are so many things that are opening up for me that I know that I want. It is not about diamond income. It's about the fact of the things that I want to do for our family and our community, and the things that I want for our legacy. It will translate for you every single time if you're willing to dive into these things. Okay, so number one, to help you get clear on your vision, write this down. You're not going to be able to explore this all in the next 2 minutes, and I'm going to try to get through these. What do you cry about? When you have time in your day, or when something happens to you, what are the things that you cry about? And I don't want you to just think money and bills. That is important because it will drive you. But money and bills, just like Bethany just said, that will not always drive you. Because the fact of the matter is, we can be poor, right? We can. Like, our world right now, a whole other tangent subject, it's not easy, but our world socially accepts it, even more so than watching people succeed. And so it is such a mindset shift to switch that. But what do you cry about? Not just money and income, but like, do you see something that just drives you? You want to be able to fund children and education. You want to be able to have a community center. Like, what do you want to be able to give back more of? What are the things that really, really move you? Those are the things that are going to be attached to your vision. The things that are going to get you up out of bed. Y'all, I don't love sending messages to people. I certainly don't love customer care when people are jacked at me, right? I forgot to turn off my subscription and you need to fix it yesterday. Well, actually, I don't, but now I don't even want to talk to you, right? Like, I don't love sending those messages back. But what I do love is when they order again and then they start sharing and it creates a bigger impact. There is a reason that I keep showing up every day. When you know what you want, you will do the hard things because they don't seem so hard. Okay, number two, what makes you happy and what resonates on a really deep level? If time and money were not something that were constricting to you, if you had a wide open schedule and you had unlimited amounts of money, what would you be doing? Like, really, truly makes you sing. And again, you're going to have to be able to do these afterwards and really dive into them. And number three, what do you dream about? Like, when you're in your 9 to 5 and you're like, man, I wish I could just be doing this. What are the things that you really, really want in this life? I did not want to work a 9 to 5 job until I was 65 years old and then have a couple of good years to be able to enjoy it. These are the best years of my kids' lives. I fully believe, like, I love being present with them right now. And it drives me every single day to keep on showing up. Do I need millions and millions of dollars to be able to do that? No, but I want to be comfortable and I want to help other women. Like, that is my mission, to have other people come into this and be healthy and to not have to worry about the stress of finances. And if I can keep passing that on to women, like y'all, it makes me so emotional to see all the kids that come through my house, because that's generational. To see the impact that we can have on youth, to see the impact that you can do because you've got a cell phone and an opportunity. There is nothing that's better than that. Last question, what do you dream about? And then I want you, last thing, and then we're going to hop off because I know it's 9 o'clock and we've got other calls too. And this goes back to your belief and your mindset and your vision more than anything. When you think about those things that you want, do you believe that Plexus can be an avenue for you to get there? Because if your first thought was no, we've got to dive into that. Why do you think that you can't show up as a Plexus Ruby, as a Plexus Diamond? Why do you think that those things can't happen for you, or do you believe that they can? The beautiful thing about belief, y'all, is that it can 100% be grown. Watching diamond documentaries, going in, looking in our health testimonial pages, and for the love, going back through your messages and reading ones where people love the products, not dwelling on the ones where somebody has turned off a subscription. It will jack with your mindset every single time. The more that you focus on the positive will expand. And if you have had trouble in this, I'm so big on this right now, like meditations and affirmations. Before you start anything with the day, get your mind right. The thoughts that you put out are the vibrations and the frequencies that you will send back in. It will happen for you over and over and over again. Your vibe attracts your tribe. It's not just a cute saying. It is meaningful. The people that you want into your world, you attract them in if you're open to it. So answer those questions on your next coaching calls with your upline. Go through them, explore them. What's your timeline? What does that look like for you? And more than a rank, what does it mean? Like when you make $5,000 a month, when you make $10,000 a month, when you make an extra $500 a month, what is that going to mean for your family? And what are you willing to do to get there? When my alarm goes off, I love that, 5:45. When my alarm went off at 5 o'clock this morning, I worked backwards with how much time I need in the morning before I wake my kids up. When it goes off at 5 o'clock, y'all, my mindset is not like, yeah, let's do this. It's like, I don't want to. Like, I have to work on it every day, right? This is not something that's like a light switch and it just goes off for you. So if you're sitting here tonight and you're like, oh, I just don't know, dive into it. You're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose. I 100% believe that. The rest of it, the skill set, that comes. You can pick up on anything in this business, but you have to have the vision and the mindset and be willing to grow it. 1% habit increases. All right, y'all. I love you. Happy Monday. I'll get the recording up so you can share it with your team. Thursday event. And next week, we're going to dive into recruiting, and then we'll go through each of the pillars. All right. Love you guys. Happy Monday.